friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I have a fun fold card for you today that reveals a mechanism that pulls out a little pocket that slides into a pocket and can hold a gift card or a little message, or you could put folded up cash in there, or the tag. So it just folds right back down into the pocket, slides back into the pocket, and closes with a little circle there to hold down the front flap of the card. Now this is a cute stamp set that's in the Stampin' Up mini catalog that just came out January 3rd and runs till June 2nd. And I'm using this stamp set Bonanza Buddies, and it is bundled with the Bonanza dies that cut out these images of the koala bear and the lion and the toucan, and then some cute little presents and birthday sentiments. But don't think just birthday. I'm thinking baby showers, baby cards, or just I would love to get a card with one of these cute little guys on here. So let's get started on how we're going to make this card here. Now I'm going to be using Bermuda Bay since it's one of the colors in the designer series paper Birthday Bonanza that I'm using. I'm using a half sheet of our cardstock, 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I'm going to score it at 2 and 7 1/4. Now these measurements and the colors and products and stamp sets and everything that I use will be on my blog post for CindyLeeBDesigns.com. There'll be a link in the YouTube description, and I'll also have links to the products and the measurements in that YouTube description. So there we go. 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 2 and 7 1/4, and then that creates our card base. Now as you can see on the front of this one, this white really had a bold statement on this card because of the little pieces of white that pop through. So I wanted a bigger border of white, and I wanted to see a lot of the Bermuda Bay. So I changed up my normal way of having that 1/8 of an inch, and I gave it a little bit more. So this piece of white paper here is 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then the designer paper that I picked is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. So you can see I just went down and I made the measurements the same there. So why don't we go ahead and just plop that on. Now this would have been a cute one to put on the front too, but it seemed just a little bit busier with that lion. I had it that way first, but I really like the balloons. So what we're gonna do is put that designer paper onto the front. And make sure when you're doing it that you put your balloons going the right direction, that they're floating up and not floating down. So there we go. We've got our designer paper on there, and let's just put this on the front of the card. That way Cindy doesn't end up losing any of these pieces on my desk. So that top fold over, and then we're just going to pop that panel onto the front of the card there. Now this paper is so colorful and pretty. Look at the balloons and the candles and the little animals and the big toucan and the koala bear and the lion, and then we've got these other smaller prints that coordinate beautifully with these bigger prints. So many colors to work with on this card. So now we've got that front portion done, and we might as well just put on our banners as well. These little banners are cut out with the Bonanza dies, these cute little banners, and I just put one going from one side and one going from the other. So I'm just going to use my snail, but I'm going to grab my silicone sheet because it just makes it so much easier, because then it'll only stick to my cardstock and not to my surface. So we've got a banner that's going to be going, I think what I did is I just had one piece up here, and then I brought it, let me see here, let's bring this up a little bit because we want to have room for our lion, and then we've got our banner on there, and then I did one, and this was in Coastal Cabana because it's one of the colors in there, and then I went ahead, get my silicone mat out again, and put some snail on my grapefruit grove, and just put that also across there. So we've got a little festive going on there with our pennants. Now the little lion here, He is so cute. Now I'm going to show you how we are going to stamp that here. Now I stamped my lion in Daffodil Delight. So what you're going to do is ink up your image and stamp it on your paper. And then it's kind of going to look a little scary because he needs some eyes and he needs his little snout there. So he looks a little scary there with those hollow open eyes and that hollow mouth. So we're going to take terracotta tile and we're going to just get the little tiny face there. And I'm going to pull this a little closer to me and step up. See if I can do this here and just put it onto the face. And look how now he comes alive and he's adorable. Before I was like, he's a little scary looking there. Well, the neat thing about this is these dies. So you'll have your image stamped that way. Oh, we might as well go ahead and put the terracotta for his lion mane. So we're going to get it inked up with the terracotta tile as well. And we're going to stamp that on our paper. So now you can see the two images that we're going to be die cutting. Now the neat thing about these dies is you open them up here. Let's pop them out here. And you have the die that's going to cut out your body. And then you have this other die that you just wonder what it is, but it cuts out the mane and the top of the tail. So you cut out this piece and you cut out this piece and you end up with this piece and this piece and then your mane and your little bushy tail. So it cuts out these pieces that way and then you just build up your little lion there. So we're going to pretend that we just did that and we're putting our dies back so that we do not lose those either. And we're just going to pop his little face onto the mane, grab myself a dimensional here, and put his cute little face there. And we're going to just take off that and pop it right in the space for the mane. And then we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of the mane under his face and put that little lion mane on there. And look how adorable that is. Then we want to stick our, and I know I'm going to get a lot of adhesive on here. So once again, I'm just going to pop it over there. And I've been using that silicone sheet a lot because I was really getting a lot of adhesive stuck on things. So then you got his cute little tail and he is going to be popped onto the front of your card. So let's just do it. Alrighty, so put dimensional on his body and then a dimensional on his head and then just pop that out there. It's so cute how that die works. And then we just pop him right on our card. And then I wanted to put a cute little sentiment on there. And I just used the Let's Celebrate You. And I stamped that in, oh, here it is. Oh, guys, I took that over here and I can't pick it up. Okay, so then I used Bermuda Bay to pull out the Bermuda Bay. I probably could have used one of the terracotta colors or the, but I really liked the way the Bermuda Bay popped. And so what I just did is I stamped it on white, and then I just used my classic label punch, and I put it right in the classic label punch. It will fit. There we go. And I popped it right out there. And then I just put the edge of my dimensionals. Here they are. There we go. And then I'm just going to snip a little piece of this bottom edge of the dimensionals. You know, that piece that's always left over? You can use that for your long tags and like sentiments and things. And then we're just going to slide that right a little bit under his tail. just the little pointy ends under his tail, and then pop it onto the front of the card. And we have almost got the front of the card done. So we are going to now decorate this bottom part. So I wanted to, I just need to get a piece of white here. And I'm going to stamp the happy birthday. Where is it? There we go. We're gonna do that in Bermuda Bay as well. We're gonna just stamp the happy birthday on a piece of Whisper White. And then we are going to punch it out with a 1.5 inch circle punch or one of your layering circles. That seemed to be, I played around with a lot of different sizes and I found that the 1.5 inch size was the best one. And then I just layered a 1 3/4 inch dimensionals. There they are. Mango Melody is what it is. And then I just popped some dimensionals on the back of that sentiment, put it on the mango. And you could change up all these colors. Like you could put mango as the ink and then the Bermuda, or put different colors as the card base. They're just all so bright and pretty. So there is going to be where we're going to close that. But then I thought that looked a little plain, and I was trying to decide. I didn't want to do designer paper again, and I thought, oh, pennants would be cute. So then I got my terracotta tile out, and I'm going to put my ink pad over there so I don't mess up. And then I got a 5 inch piece by a 1 inch, and I took my triple banner punch, opened it up, slid my 1 inch wide down into that groove. I looked on the back and made sure that my paper is flush, because if you don't, it's not going to, I mean, it still will cut, but it won't be even. So always make sure, take a look at the back, pop out, and then figure out something to do with those fun little things. So I started with a 5 inch long piece, and then I cut those 2 pieces out, and then it fit in this 4 1/4 inch piece. So start with 5 by 1, and then it cuts off about 1/4, a little over, I'm not sure, let me see here. If you want to figure out how much it is, you just measure it. Yeah, it takes about a 1/2 inch off. So if you know how big you want to do it, give yourself a 1/2 inch bigger, and then that part gets punched out. So that's going to go on to that bottom portion. Now remember, this is going to close here. And then we're just going to pop that pennant right about the same amount of, there we go. I know I mention every time how it's hard to see when you're doing this on a video. Then I took a width that was a 1/4 inch smaller than the 1 inch. Now you can still put something smaller than 1 inch, okay? But you'll notice that it slides around in here. So you have to look at it and get the same amount of space on each side inside that groove, okay? So it looks like I have about the same amount of space on each side, and then I'm gonna have to pop that down to hit. You'll feel that resistance when you're sure you're there. Pop it. Now this one, I kind of cheated. I put, there we go, got the same amount of space on each side, holding it in place, and then it's flush with the bottom. And what I did with this one is I kind of cheated because I just didn't feel like measuring it, and I just popped it in half because I'm just going to slide it. I'm going to put it with my circle. Now, whenever I close this, I don't want this up too high because it was too hard to open. You want it just so it flips there, and so the person getting the card isn't like, you know, having trouble opening it and stuff. So whenever I did that, I didn't put any dimensionals under there either. I made it flush. And because I knew that people would be playing with it, because it is a cute little thing, I used tear and tape. Here's one that I already have started here. I used tear and tape to adhere it because it just gives it a stronger bond than my snail. So then I just grab, oh, there's my take your pick tool. I was spatulaing a little bit ago. So then I just take off no wonder these things are everywhere in my house. I just flick them, flick them everywhere. There we go. So now we're going to pop. We know this is going to go right in the middle. Okay, and it does go up a little more, so you have a little bit more of the circle above the pennant than below the pennant, but you kind of want it that way so that it just slips in like that. Okay, then what I did is just I popped these in here, and then you can actually trim them a little bit even more, and then they'll be able to slide in there. And so then I just put some adhesive on the daffodil, and then I just tried to kind of look and get about the same amount on the top and the bottom. And because we used that triple banner punch and we kept it in the same place, we end up being able to have the pennants, and then just look at your pennants and just try to get, because we're faking everybody out that it's one long pennant, which you can do one long pennant. I just didn't take the time to play around and measure it. So as soon as I get it exactly pretty darn close there, there we go. We now have those two pennants. So there I pulled out the daffodil and the daffodil and the terracotta, and made a really cute little card there. But the thing we need to do though is get that fun piece in here. Now I use this designer paper. Okay, you guys remind me to find the top to my take your pick tool. So what I did is on this one, I used the balloons and I used the candles here, but I wanted the balloons, needless to say, I changed my mind. So I'm putting the candles in there. But one thing you'll notice, you can sometimes make these cards by flipping up the designer paper, but when I flip this up, my ice cream cones were upside down. So I modified it, and sometimes that happens on the back of designer paper. You can't flip it up if it has that type of that has to be sitting the right way. So I just modified it. So I took a 5.5 inch by 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 5.5. And then I just scored in a 1/2 inch on both sides. So this is the piece that's going to get adhered to the top here. And then this piece, I can just adhere this designer paper right on the bottom of that. So this piece here is also 3 1/4, but it's 1 3/4. So then you can just put adhesive right on the bottom and then put any piece of paper, designer paper, that matches nicely. But like I said, and it's not going to be having any adhesive here. And then you just have that. And then you're going to put your, I am actually going to use tear and tape on that too, because it's going to have a lot of action there. So we're just going to get that tear and tape, and we're going to put it, and I like to put it right against the scored line there. And remember, I scored in a 1/2 inch on each side. And then I'm just going to have to clean these scissors, and then we're going to adhere this to the top portion of the card here, and we're going to be putting it, we're going to, now think about how it looks in the card. Now we're going to take it over here, we're going to get the same amount of space on each side, on the right and left, and we're going to go right up above the score line. So right up above this score line we made at 7 1/4, and we're going to have the same amount here, and then this folds down, and this is going to fold up here. And because I made this 3 1/4, it gives me room that I can put my tear tape right there. So I'm going to get a little piece of tear. Oh, I don't know why I keep picking up the brand new one. Doesn't really matter, right? So you're going to put the tear tape right on that right on that edge of the paper, and by making this 3 1/4, and if you're being, putting it right against the edge, you have no problem with it being that the pocket can't slide back in there. So make sure you put your adhesive right along the edges of this pocket, because you can see I can close this, burnish it down, and create that pocket, and then this is free, very easily can go in and out, and it's not going to be stuck on these edges because I gave enough space there. So there we go with our little pocket that's going to slide into the other pocket and close. But we go to open it and we need something here. Easily puts in a gift card, and the gift card can be, it's not going to be this way, it's going to be tall. Okay, but I made this with a cute little tag. This tag die is in the Bonanza dies. And so what I did is I just took I took terracotta tile, didn't I? I used terracotta tile, and I'm going to ink up. I'm glad it's your birthday so I can tell you how wonderful you are. Hey, why don't we just do that every day? Get a little ink there. So I'm so glad it's your birthday so I can tell you how wonderful you are. So we've got our sentiment on there. And then I just used some of the presents here. There's a cute little present there, and I used mango for that present. And I just inked up this cute little present. And I popped it on there. And then I did one in daffodil. So here it is. There we go. Got a lot of blocks moving here. You should see when I have to do calls to my girlfriend Janet whenever I'm having a big class and I don't have enough acrylic blocks, and I'm like, Janet, please bring me some acrylic blocks. She always comes through for me. All right, so there we go. And then I'm going to put some little bows on there in Bermuda Bay. And so the tall bow, a lot of ink pads open here too. My girls laugh when I'm always walking around at the tables and closing the ink pads. And they're like, hey, I was going to use that. I said, okay, I'm just trying to make sure nothing gets ruined on your cards. So you put a little bow on there. And then there's a cute other little bow. And we're going to, oh, sorry. Got a little crazy with the camera there. We're also going to ink that up in Bermuda. And we're going to put it onto our smaller square present. And then we got a cute little tag. Now you'll see on here I used a retired Bermuda Bay ribbon. Hey, nothing in my stamp room is retired. These poor guys, everything gets used in here. So what I did is I just looked at the colors, went over to my ribbon, and I have a ribbon roll control. Ribbon roll control. My friend Trish has invented that. So if you need a great way to store your ribbons, ribbon roll control. And so I went over there and I picked out a daffodil ribbon. And like I said, it actually is retired as well, but it's still working for me, baby. There you go. So now we have a pretty, and see all the colors just go together because you know you have those colors laying around there, all those little pieces. And there you go, 2 cute little cards there that we made. The Bonanza Buddies bundle that comes with the Bonanza Buddies dies, the Bonanza dies and the Bonanza Buddies stamp set. If you have any questions, you can call me at 724-323-2296, or you can text me or send me a picture if you use this card technique. I first saw the measurements for the card base on Dawn Olszewski's site, so I thank her for that inspiration, but I changed up all the other dimensions because I wanted my gift card I wanted it to be very easy to slide in here, and I just want to grab a gift card and show you that you can pop a gift card in very easily this way. So it fits in this way, but when I put it this way, it was a little tight on these 2 sides, and so leaving it that way made it a lot easier to put a gift card in there. So you'll find all of that stuff on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and you'll find all that information on YouTube. I like to post on Wednesdays. I have a new video for you guys to watch. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.